Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. And today I'm going to be answering your questions that you sent to me through my community page here on YouTube about politics. So let's get started, shall we? So our first question is from Moon Beanification. Sounds like a pretty awesome kind of name. Will Social Security be available when I retire? I've been working and paying into Social Security for 35 plus years. So, right, those of us that are, anybody under, say, 60 and maybe even under 55, we're just not even sure. Like, are we really going to get this? Because we've been told through the media and through various doomsayers, Social Security isn't going to be around. You're just going to have to deal with it, right? You're just, well, I don't even know what that means. I mean, what does that mean? That you work until you die and then you die on the job? I mean, what does that mean? Okay, here's the thing. Yes, Social Security is going to be around. Personally, even though truly in many ways, the United States of America is in the darkest, deepest night of the soul. It's a very dark place right now, and it's often the darkest just before the sun comes up. This is where we are. I see us having a huge change of heart, basically more public support for all of these types of things. All of these things that really and truly we've seen our grandparents, our parents be able to use and benefit from. And nobody wants that to go away. No one wants that to go away. Well, the Republicans want that to go away, but nobody else does. And surprise, surprise, the Republicans are the minority. We need to remember this. They're not the majority. They've gerrymandered their way into pretending, that they're the minority, they're the majority, but they're not. So I see the people rising up. I just see huge changes ahead. Now, change is rocky. Change can be discombobulating. It can be uncomfortable. It can even be a little scary at times. Think about the changes that happened after the Civil War. Think about the changes that happened during the Civil Rights Movement. Think about the changes that happened in Germany after World War II and Japan after World War I. Think about these sea changes where the entire society was remade. This is what I see America going through in the next 5 years, starting now. So yes, I do see it may not be called Social Security. We may actually come up with a completely different name. I feel like it's going to be the words that the guides are using is more robust. So right now we have Medicare, Medicaid, and we have Social Security, and we have disability. Well, I forget disability goes over to a separate side, but as far as Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, I feel like there's going to be a lot more added to it. And I'm not saying disability isn't going to get something added to it. I'm saying that the government will consider that to be separate, because disability is something theoretically that you can get at a working age, whereas all these other programs are designed to come after you've completed your working age. Okay. So I do see this group of benefits, and these benefits are better, all around better healthcare, better food assistance for seniors, rent assistance for seniors, Social Security money for you to live on, just all around a much better care of our senior citizens. So yes, I think the other thing that I would add is that whereas I do think the age is probably higher than it should be to get those resources, I don't know what it is right now, because it's always moving. It's like a moving target, right? But I don't think it's going to get up to like 70, or I don't think it's going to get to be some ridiculous age. It could be tiered, where at 62, you get this, at 64, you get this, at 66, you get this. It could be tiered. But overall, I really have a lot of hope about that. So thank you for your question. Tati Jim and Ruthie H and Denise G and probably a whole bunch of you have questions about guns and gun violence. Tati Jim says where there'll be a central database for gun owners similar to the DMV within the next year. 21 plus to own must take a class training to register all guns to receive a permit. Right. So basically registration and, you know, kind of control. Like we drive a car, we're responsible for the car, right? Makes perfect sense to me. Ruthie H says, what will it take the reps to stop blaming mass shootings on mental health? Is it going to take something that hits home with one of them before it happens? Do your guides have any insight on this? And Denise G says, after this horrendous weekend, Texas has had a hell of a weekend, y'all. Mass shooting in Allen, Texas, which is near Dallas, which was not near me. And also there was a person intentionally drove their car allegedly into a crowd of alleged migrants in Brownsville. They could be migrants that have asylum. They could be migrant. I don't know. So Denise's question is, where's the public outcry? The legislators are ignoring this as usual. How much worse can it get here in Texas? So here's the answer to most of your questions. First of all, that shooting near Dallas really shook me up. It hit close to home. And I don't know why some of these shootings affect me more than others, but they do. This guy got out of his vehicle and just started firing. I mean, a lot of shootings, sadly, in America are because you stole my woman or my man, or I don't like you and I know you. It's right. Most murders are someone that you know, sadly. That's terrible, but that's been, their guides are telling me, the case since Caesar. Now, these people that just kill random people really kind of freak me out. So that was a hard one. And of course, you know, Uvalde in Texas, the kids, it's just nonsensical, and it's crazy, and it makes me crazy. But I will tell you this. I had a long talk with my spirit guides this weekend. A lot of it was me shouting at them, but they were very patient. Here's what I can tell you. I see some real lawsuits coming towards these gun manufacturers. Now, they are protected to a degree. There was some, I didn't even know this, but there was some Supreme Court ruling about 5 or 10 years ago that made it hard to sue them. But even so, Sandy Hook parents were able to sue one of those gun manufacturers or somebody that was related to that event for like $77 million. And now we have legal scholars that are looking for every little loophole that they can find to sue these gun manufacturers. So I'm going to say, first of all, you're going to see a lot more pressure in the courts against the gun manufacturers, and or maybe even the ammo manufacturers, because some of this ammunition is designed to destroy flesh. I mean, it's not a regular bullet. It's literally designed to do more harm. So that where the guides were telling me is that there's this angle of the viciousness. I mean, these aren't guns that are made to hunt ducks or squirrel or wild boar. They're military grade weapons, and even more so in some ways. So you're going to see this angle in the courts. And you guys, I just have no patience for people who are going to tell me the courts won't do anything, SCOTUS won't do anything. I don't have any patience for that. I have one word for you, Tucker, one name, Tucker Carlson. Things are changing, Tucker Carlson. Every time you think things aren't changing, I want you to think Tucker Carlson. That man was the cash cow for Fox News, and he's out. Things are changing. The energy has changed. Now you see judges upholding cases and settled law, whereas when 45 was in office, they didn't uphold settled law. They were rogue. Now they're falling into line. Things have changed. So you're going to, first of all, you're going to see real pushback in the courts against these companies. Number two, the companies themselves are not liking the energy of their product being used in mass shootings. They actually don't like the energy of the MAGA crowd. I'm telling you, Browning keeps coming to mind over and over again. I don't know if Browning makes an AR type rifle. I don't know anything about this. All I can tell you is that all weekend long, I've been hearing Browning, Browning, Browning. These companies do not like this. They don't want to be responsible. They don't want to be in it. They want a way out. They want a way to take their ARs and modify them and sell them to the military. So if they can get military contracts, they'll stop selling them to citizens. Everybody wants a way out of this. This is a no-win situation. The only people who don't want a way out are the Republicans who are on the dole, on the meal ticket of other countries who want us to fall apart, who want us to have civil war. And you got to wonder, you really have to wonder about these governors and these politicians who continually reduce the regulations around guns, even when their local police departments are like, no, don't do that. They do it anyway. There's no reason to not have background checks. There's no reason, right, to have a 5-day waiting. There's just no reason for that. There's no logical reason other than somebody wants guns in everybody's hands. The guy that just did this in Texas was literally booted out of the military for his healthy mental outlook. Booted out of the military. He was able to get guns legally. Okay, so there's a reason why. It doesn't take a psychic to figure this out. Okay, everybody is saying we don't want this, and the governor is saying, yeah, we want this, do this, and these Republicans are saying, yes, we want this. So there's another entity, another energy that's causing these people to make these decisions. But I see all of this coming to a head. I see this all very quickly sort of becoming the end. The end of this type of gun ownership is coming soon. Now, of course, you have people that how many people have guns in America? I mean, it's an insane amount of people. And how many people have these types of guns that are really militaristic guns? And we're going to have to figure out a way to get the guns out of their hands, right? So of course, what we're going to do is offer a buyback, a tax rebate. I can literally see federal funds. Now, I think it depends on the state, because of course it does, right? I mean, if you're living in, some other state that might be sort of less red or purple, that state might take the federal funds and do a raffle. Everybody who hands over an AR type gun gets entered into a raffle for a 4-wheeler, right? For a hunting trip. I mean, we can do this. It's not impossible, you guys. Come on. None of this is impossible. And now we have the energy. Think of a wave. The wave, you've been to the beach, you've been to the lake, this water's calm, and all of a sudden the wave just picks you up and carries you off. And that's what's happening. This energy is going to pick us up and carry this problem off. Now, the other thing is that unfortunately, I do sense that we're going to have more of these types of events this summer, and perhaps even worse events this summer, and perhaps even a day where 2 or 3 events happen in one day. It's like the guides are saying, it's like we're at this tipping point. We're not quite there yet. I know we should be there. I know, but we're not. We're just not. But we're getting close. And once that happens, that that combined with the fact that these manufacturers went out, and that also mixed with the fact that a lot of these Congress people that are pro crazy ass gun are going to be out. They're going to get indicted. So you have the energy coming from all angles towards this. It's not just one thing, it's from all angles. And really at the heart of it, these gun manufacturers are like, we don't want this. We got kids. We don't want to be worried going to the mall. I don't want my granddaughter, right? So the energy is just really nasty, yucky. Nobody likes it. The only people who like it are the people who are getting paid to like it. That is going to come to the surface. And those people are going to be exposed. And with this energy that we have, that is like the Tucker Carlson, like Thomas being exposed at every turn, the light is now on. Somebody finally found the light switch and flipped the suckers on. And now there's an entire stadium of lights shining on these people who've been operating in the dark. Okay. So I do see this happening, and I do see, whereas I'm sorry to say that I do see more events this summer, I will also say that we're at critical mass of events. We're at the tipping point, and this is all going to get exposed, and we're all going to be on the other side of this starting next year. So starting literally next year, you're going to start seeing gun buybacks. You're going to start seeing more regulations against guns, and you're just not even going to believe that it's happening, the same way that we couldn't believe a month ago that Tucker Carlson would be fired, without any ceremony on Friday and not be there on Monday. This is the kind of energy we're in. It's like, it's over. Boom, done. Okay. So that's what I would say about that. And the next, thank you for all your questions, everybody. We have work to do. We have work to do. So I'm going to get off my soapbox just so I can climb on to another one, because the next question is Life is a Mindset Lorraine. She has two questions, and one of them is, what do the guides have to say about the tornadoes and the hailstorms and all the crazy weather? If you have a warning for a severe thunderstorm, you almost have to add to your own thinking that this could be much worse, much quicker. So what I'm seeing is a regular storm just elevates into some deadly storm almost instantly. That's the difference. The storms we're having are worse. The drought we're having is worse. The rain we're having is worse. The snow we're having is worse. Everything is just extremes. So just be careful when you get a warning, and especially this summer, I see some pretty big storms with some pretty big devastation. It's, around June, the tip we always do, right? Come on. This is not out of the ordinary that a tornado comes and hits some town in June and in July. This is not out of the ordinary. It's the level of the energy of the storm that I feel is out of the ordinary. Also, I am seeing something. I mean, it's a tornado that I'm seeing. I can't tell you what state it's in. I'm just telling you guys, if you have a tornado watch, you really got to take it more seriously than you would in the past. The other question that Life as a Mindset Lorraine had, which is really an important question, is apparently James Clyburn betrayed his constituents. Do I see anything happening to him? So I'm going to tell you what James Clyburn did. This is from an article that I'm going to read you. Black Democrat Representative James Clyburn, one of South Carolina's most powerful politicians, secretly worked with Republicans during the 2020 redistricting process to dilute the strength of the Black vote, making it harder for his party to gain seats in Congress. He did it to ensure he'd be able to comfortably continue winning his seat for as long as he wanted to. Now, this is allegedly, this is reporting by ProPublica, which is the same group of nonprofit journalists that brought you all of Thomas's alleged, not alleged, because they've proven this. They brought receipts. They brought receipts and slammed them on the counter. So now ProPublica, and look, if y'all got $5 extra, donate to ProPublica, because they're not for profit and they're doing the work we need right now. So your question is anything going to happen to him? Yeah. Yes. Because like the guides told you last year and this year, and every 3 months, they tell you Democrats are going to go down too. The light comes on, y'all. It's not Democrat light or Republican light. It's the light. If you doing something wrong, if your hand is in the till, if you're doing something wrong, then you're going to get exposed. It doesn't care if you got an R or a D after your name. Now, I happen to believe that there's going to be a lot more R's that are going to be exposed than D's. But I've always told you guys, some of the D's were going to get exposed. And here we are. D number 1, Democrat number 1. Exhibit A, James Clyburn. This thing with James Clyburn you're gonna see. Well, let me stay with James Clyburn for a second. So James Clyburn is again has this energy of being above the fray, above the power, above everybody else, right? That's his energy. His energy is, I make the rules. I break the rules. Nobody holds me accountable because I make the rules, right? So I'm so sorry, Mr. Clyburn, but you about to get the brunt of your constituents. The Democrats are going to throw you out like you're going to be shot out of a cannon. They're going to throw you out. It's not going to be pretty. Democrats throw people out if you do one tiny thing. Do this. This is not going to be pretty right here. So the problem is, well, let me go back and let me try to do 3 things at once. The guides are giving me 3 different things at once, and I am just a human. Okay, so all right, I'll switch to the Senate. So this is going to have a chilling effect on the Senate. Now, I know he's a rep, but this is going to have a chilling effect on the Senate, because the problem that exists here is that this man has been in office too long, and he has started to believe, and I've said this before, and the guides are reminding me that to be in office this long, you got to make deals with the devil. You got to. Sadly, right? I mean, it goes from, hey, my state needs this and your state needs that. And if you vote on my bill, I'll vote on your bill. Even though we don't like each other, we can do each other a favor, right? It goes from that kind of compromise where you may be compromising your citizens or your own values to be able to bring a little bacon home for the other citizens. It gets to be a slippery slope. And then pretty soon, you're starting to believe that you are all powerful and no one can touch you. And is anybody here seeing a pattern along with me? Because I'm seeing a pattern. I don't know about you. When I see a pattern of, I start going, oh, snap. Because that means I got to fix it. That means the truth is in front of my eyes and I can't deny it. So I'm seeing a pattern here of, let's just say, James Clyburn thinking he's above everything, MTG thinking she's above everything, everybody thinking they're above everything. Thomas thinks he's above everything. The whole SCOTUS thinks they're above recrimination or ethics or anything. And this is the pattern, and the light is going to shine on all of them. And the beauty of what's happening right now is that for once, the light is shining, and Americans have the energy to seek change. So we had some light shining during 45 when he first was elected. And while he was in office, light was shining, but people didn't have the energy, the wherewithal to demand change. And that is what's changed now. Now the people demand change. And this is just the beginning. What you saw with those two leaders in Tennessee, or the Tennessee three, but the two Justins, that's just the beginning. You're seeing it in the Texas courthouse. You're seeing it everywhere. It's just the beginning. So yeah, James Clyburn is gonna be stepping down. And I'm telling you that unequivocally. Now, I know that he says he's not, and I know that he's going to try to, confuse and redirect everybody's attention, but it's not going to work. It's the same thing with Thomas and all those on SCOTUS. It's not going to work. And right now, people are bringing up Sotomayor. Sotomayor, she had a book deal. Now, the difference is that she disclosed her book deal. But even that, there were some few, if you're going to be looking at everything with a microscope, you could say that she did a few things that were unethical. Now, here is where we need to be really careful, because I'm hearing this from you, my readings. People are saying to me, Susan, I've voted Democrat my whole life, but I'm not happy with the Democrats. I just don't want to vote for them. I don't want to. Okay, hello. If we go into next year and we throw out, let's just say, 8 to 10 Republicans, and I mean senators, and I mean representatives, and maybe even some SCOTUS. And when I say throw out, either they leave, they get indicted, they're gone. I don't care how you go, you got to go. And let's say we do the same thing with 3 Democrats. Now, somebody's going to be telling you they're all bad. See, it's not just the Republicans. It's the whataboutism. The what about? See, they're all bad. Y'all, we got to be smarter than that. Come on now. We got to be smarter than that. I, right now, am a vote Democrat at all cost person, because even if we found out that 25 Democrats were on the take, I would still be voting Democrat. If you don't vote Democrat, even if you got to hold your nose and do it, then you voting for Trump. Then you voting for a Trump-like candidate. End of story. If you're mad about the Democrats, then by God, get mad, but get active. Get active in your state's, Democratic Party. Take it over. The state Democratic parties are all freaking hidebound. They're set in their ways. They're treated like power fiefdoms. They're terrible. Take it over. Go get 20 young people and just take it over. Get active, but you got to vote. It's not, we have to be careful about this next 18 months. That no labels party, this is what's going to happen. They're going to start telling y'all, see, they're all bad. They're all bad. Come to our party. We're new. We're not beholden to anybody. We haven't been in Congress for all these years, or the Senate for all these years. Nobody owns us. They owned. Okay. They're owned. We have to be more discriminating. We have to. Okay. So here we are, the beginning of, whack-a-mole season. I don't know what it is, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out. And James Clyburn made too many deals with the devil. And now he's going to find out. because this is not what we want representing us. I don't care how long you've been in office. And that's another thing. We need term limits. If we had term limits, we would be much less likely to have this happen. So I think when the Democrats go after Clyburn, which they will, I mean, his own people going to go after him, sadly. Not sadly, but that's good. I'm glad. But once that happens, you better believe that those ancient senators that have been in office for God knows how many decades, they're all going to be like stepping down because they don't need to be. Listen, James Clyburn could have exited and had statue, a wing of the college named after him, parades in his honor, and now he's going to be disgraced. So this is a big old message to the rest of them. Get out while the getting's good, while you're respected, because the light's coming for you too. We don't care. We don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. If you're doing wrong, you're going to be held accountable. Okay. Woo! Sorry. So that there's a whole article about this on anywhere. You can just Google it and find out all about it. Okay, so Karen Stenius says the debt ceiling, question mark, just the debt ceiling. I haven't been going on and on about the debt ceiling because I do think that we're going to get to the edge. I think we're really going to get to the edge. Some people might say we're already on the edge because we're already, there are the Treasury and they're already, robbing Peter to pay Paul, and God only knows what they're doing to pay our bills. But Biden isn't blinking. He's not blinking. He's not backing down, and Congress isn't backing down. I think if it comes to it, that the president is going to use the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, if he has to, I think he can. I think it'll at least surprise everybody, and it can go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is not going to vote to allow us to default on our debts. It's just not going to happen. There's too much money. There's too many political lives at stake here. So the 14th Amendment, Section 4, says the validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payments of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. So basically, the Congress shouldn't even be questioning this anyway. It says in our amendment, if these people want to say that the Second Amendment is ironclad, well, then I present to you the 14th Amendment, Section 4. Okay. And I think that's exactly what Biden is going to do. But I do think that before that happens, that they will come to some sort of agreement. And you have to understand this pressure that's building, and the pressure is coming from Jack Smith and from Fani Willis, this pressure that's building on these legislators that have been caught up in the whole January 6th / insurrection issues and the RICO, the racketeering, laws. The pressure is mounting on these people. They're either going to bug out and step down, bug out and get sick and cross over, or they're going to acquiesce. And I would just say, put your seatbelt on. It's about to get a little bit crazy, but I don't see us defaulting. I don't see senior citizens not getting their payments. I don't see our military not getting. What in the heck? What if we couldn't pay our military? That would be a national security risk, right? So for the love of God, if these Democrats would stand up and get on CNN and get on every platform and just say, okay, you guys are for soldiers, how about we pay them, right? Why aren't the Democrats doing a better job with the messaging? But you know what? That's okay, because thanks to Representative Clyburn, we're going to have a whole bunch new Democrats, and they're probably all going to be 30 to 45 or 50 years old, and they're going to be a lot younger, and they're going to have much more fire in their bellies to represent us. So that's what's going down. But I do think that McCarthy's going to blink before we do. It still makes everybody nervous, and I don't blame you. We shouldn't be here, right? We should not be here. Firefly says, will there be a better voter turnout than 2022 midterms due to all the crazy crap the GOP is doing? I'm so tired of the apathetic people not stepping up. Our freedoms are on the line. That's what I mean when I say Democrats say they're not going to vote for Democrats. I mean, don't even say that to me. Don't say it to me. I understand your frustration. I literally just complained out loud to thousands of people. I also have the same frustrations. However, at this point in time, I'm voting Democrat. And I do think that you're going to see a lot of people vote Democrat. And this is what the guides have been saying. All these Gen Zers, they're going to be voting Democrat because that's our only horse in this race. End of story. But the guides have been telling you guys that after 26, after 24 and 26, the Gen Zers are, and especially probably in 26, the Gen Zers are going to be like, yeah, they're going to go rogue. If the Democrats don't get it together and police their own people, get their own, dead wood out and start listening to the people, they're also going to pay a price. Everybody's going to pay a price. Gen Z is going to be the group that makes us all sit up and take notice. And as I've said many, many times, we don't know them. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they want. They are the generation that's grown up with their college degree not being worth diddly, with so much debt that they can't buy a house. They're not marrying. They're a completely different population, I believe, than this country's ever seen. So what do they want? What will they want? How will they reshape the American landscape? Because they will. They're coming, and they will. Right now, they're going to vote D. So right now, I see 24 being a D. But then after that, guys, could be Wild West for a while till we figure this out, till we figure out who we can trust, what we want. We're remaking ourselves. The whole country is remaking itself. What are our values? What do we want? We know what we don't want. We don't want, mass shootings. We don't want high unemployment. We don't want high prices. We don't want to be taken advantage of. We don't want to be sold off to the highest bidder like cattle, So we know what we don't want. That's what's propelling us to make these decisions. Then we have to do the hard work, which is, what do we really want the Constitution to look like? It's a living document. It's meant to be amended. And we are going to be really doing some amending. And this is not a spectator sport. We're all going to need to be involved. We're all going to need to really be involved. And that means sometimes it doesn't go your way. Sometimes it does go your way. But we have to put the effort in. Okay, I'm going to move on for one or two more questions. Mags Wags says, every year the Kentucky Derby comes around and I have a difficult time even watching it. I see all the pomp and circumstance and the horses injured and even dying. And I wonder if this type of sport will ever be deemed cruel or abusive and be stopped. It's interesting, Mags Wags. I'm from Louisville, which is where the Kentucky Derby is run. I grew up watching it on TV. I frankly actually grew up about 5 miles from the Kentucky Derby racetrack. And it's interesting. It's really and truly a part of my being, but I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch it this last weekend. I'm with you. I think consciousness is changing. The guides are showing me in where I live in Texas, there was a dog racing track where they race greyhounds. And it was really popular for about 5 years. And then it just got less and less popular. And then it just closed down. People really are starting to care about animals more and more and more. So I think this is already starting to happen with the horse racing, because it certainly happened with me. It's happening with you. I think, yes, in general, humans are we're ascending. We're ascending. I think that before it's all over with, a lot of us will probably be more vegetarian and a lot more animal conscious in many ways. So yes, I do think it is. In 10 years, you might not even, it might not even be a thing. That's how fast this is moving. That's how fast this energy is moving. So yes, I do think that is changing. And I guess you could do it in a sense, you could do it that's not so harmful to the animals. And maybe that is something that will happen. Okay, Judy Lee says, I'm interested in knowing if the ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment, will ever be part of our Constitution. So here we are talking about amendments. We're talking about changing the amendments. And you know, the ERA was held up by one vote, you know, so when that happened. Yes, I do see it becoming part of the Constitution, but it, again, nothing is as it, like Social Security kind of changes and morphs into this new thing. And I think that the ERA is going to change and morph into this new thing. All of the rights that are in the ERA, but I think truly it could even be kind of spiffied up a bit more, or changed in ways that better suit our current population. But yes, I do see it is going to be, it is going to be in the Constitution. And then Jennifer commented to Judy's question and said that she was looking at the 14th Amendment, the Equal Protection Clause that is enshrined in our Constitution as the Bill of Rights. And Jennifer is saying, I think they can pull on this for so many reasons, including Roe v. Wade. There's great harm coming to women and girls in our country because of the reversal of SCOTUS. I have not heard anyone say this, but this is an important amendment. Again, this is what we're going to be doing, right? This is how they started this whole video off, by saying the Democrats are going to start getting some of these really sharp legal minds to look at the amendments. The Democrats have been a spectator sport, right? And sadly, some of them have been playing for the wrong team, for their own power. So now we know what the gig is up. We know what's going on. I feel like these Democrats like Sheldon Whitehouse and all these other people that are really, truly representatives of the people, I really feel like these people are going to go back to the amendments and to the Constitution. If the Republicans want to, and the word the guys are using is bastardize 2A, the Second Amendment, then by God, we can do the same thing with some of these other amendments, right? We can hold them. It's like a duel, like a sparring with swords. You know, they strike with their sword and we're going to strike back with a different amendment that says, okay, then we're going to use this amendment to give us Roe v. Wade back. It's all on the table. This is all on the table, you guys. We're coming into a new land where Biden is going to use the amendment to say, we don't need your vote. We're going to pay the bills. Go sit down. Go sit down, children, until you grow up. And when you can come back to me, the president of the United States, with something that's reasonable, I'll be happy to talk with you. So it's a new land. It's a new era. But this is the nascent, the beginning of it. And so I know that you guys might not be seeing it as such. I would just say to you, look at the Tucker Carlsons, look at the Thomas, look at the Clyburn. These are people that have been, you know, bastions. You know, they've been pillars of our public society, and in some cases, you know, our courts and our Congress. And we're turning them out. we're acknowledging, we're facing that they are not the best person for the job, that they don't have Americans' interest at heart. And we're facing that, we're dealing with it, and we're making changes. So it is coming. I know that it doesn't feel like it, but it is coming. This is just the beginning of it. And I don't see it petering out. They wanted to say, we've had we flirted with this, so to speak, right? When we've had other movements happen, and they've petered out, but this isn't going to peter out. Those other movements were sort of the gentle waves on the shore. And this is getting a bigger wave. This is the big wave. This is the wave that's going to make change. So I really see all of these things getting better, but I also see us going through a time of extreme change where we all have voices, and there might be a lot of shouting and a lot of times when we're just not sure if any of this is making any sense, but it is. It is. This is the behind the scenes process of a rebirth of the United States of America, and one in which racism and justice and equal rights, all of these things are accounted for. The wrongs are going to be righted. The Native American wrongs, the racist wrongs, all of the wrongs are going to start to be accounted for. This is why the Republicans are freaking out. This is why the Republicans are saying kids cannot learn about racism. This is why Republicans are saying we can't let you be woke. Woke is bad, because they know woke is the end of them. It's the end of the patriarchal system as they have benefited from it, including Clyburn. It's the end. When something ends, you've got that period of time where there isn't something readily there to replace it. So be woke, be aware that whatever rushes in to fill that space might not be what we think it is. We need to be discerning. We really need to be discerning going forward. But other than that, this is all good. This is the breaking down of the systems. Remember, the guides told you guys, dissolution. Remember how they said that every video for months? Dissolution, dissolving. This is what we're doing. We're dissolving the structures that are not built for the people or by the people. So I see good things coming. We just have to sort of endure this time right now where it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to see the truth sometimes. And it's okay to be mad, and it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be all that. And it's definitely okay when it's ready to be active, when you're ready and the time is right to get active, to hold to account everybody that needs to be held to account. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will do part 2 very soon. Take really good care of yourself. I really appreciate you watching to the end. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Special shout out to all of the people that I do readings for. And you guys tell me how much you appreciate these videos. I just want to give you a shout out and tell you how much I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Take really good care of yourself. Do what you need to do to make your day brighter, to make your day happier. You don't have to stick your head in this nastiness and see everything. You can simply do whatever you need to do to raise your vibration and know that the light is shining. And when you're ready to take action, action will be there for you to take. Okay? We'll talk again really soon, right here on this channel. For entertainment purposes only.